true crime and expressing and sharing other people's theories on the crime itself. So what are the big boundaries and rules for sharing theories about a true crime in a true crime podcast? So stick with me and I'll be right back right now. Hello, everybody. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and this is Legit Podcast Pro. Every Thursday, I go live for a short time to answer a question or address a legal issue that podcasters are facing, and today is no different. Today, I'm looking at a question that came in from Tony, who says, I have a question that has something to do with the true crime genre. If I were doing an unsolved true crime case that has various theories, and some podcasts will tell you what they think is their favorite theory, but then they'll say, well, there's some that I can't really share with you. How do you know? What can you say and what should you keep under wraps and those kinds of things when you have a personal point of view or opinion about which theory might be right? Well, it's a great question. What we're really talking here about is the law of libel, law of defamation, which libel is the recorded or broadcasted electronically media produced version of the defamation tort. Defamation is a false statement made about a person, a specific person, of or concerning a specific person, that is factual in its tone and is harmful to that person's reputation when it's published. So accusing somebody of a crime is libel per se. It is always, I should say falsely accusing somebody of a crime is always libel. So what are we going to do? You're looking into the case, and you know there are a bunch of theories out there, and one of those theories names a particular person. I think it's so and so behind this thing. Can you share that opinion, that theory, and talk about it? And I think the answer is generally yes. Now, if you know it's not a valid theory, if you know it's false, then obviously, or you're fairly sure it's false, then stay away from it. Don't touch it. But if a theory doesn't have much backup or much support, if it's just someone sort of popping off about hey, I think so and so did it, I think it was her dad, or whatever, then be careful about that. Even if there is a lot of backup and support for the theory that you are advocating, be a little careful. There is some risk. After all, you're accusing someone of a crime, and if you're wrong, that's libel. Now, there is this privilege in libel law called the reporter's privilege or fair report privilege. And in that situation, since you're doing journalism about the theories and that there are a number of theories out there, you are on fairly safe ground if you are sharing multiple theories, especially. You could say, so, this is the crime, so-and-so was killed or so-and-so was injured or this happened or whatever. And there are 5 different theories about, there are 5 major leading theories about who is responsible for this crime. So let me lay them out for you. And you could lay out all 5 of those theories without expressing much other than these are theories. You're being a reporter. You're sharing the news. That when you cross over into saying, I think so-and-so did it, or I'm partial to a particular theory, that's where, if you are backing it up with your own reasons why you believe it, it starts to feel like it's factual. When it's like, here's a bunch of theories, then you're just reporting on the fact that the theories exist. But as soon as you start to emphasize one, you're taking a little more risk. Now, that said, you are entitled to share your opinion. If you genuinely believe that theory number 2 is the one that's right, you can say, hey, I personally think it's theory number 2, and you may have a different view. And then you could even invite engagement and, hey, share your thoughts in the show notes or in the comments and those kinds of things. So, but I think the most important thing is if you really don't believe a theory is viable, you should say so. You can refute it. And if you're sharing your opinion and you give too much of that evidence and support, you're running a little risk. So it's really, there is no great answer to this. I think that a lot of true crime podcasters are, they're taking unnecessary risks, really. I mean, it makes for good entertainment, good media. But if that person who is accused turns out not to be the right one, they could come at you. And it happens in the major media arena all the time. And there's no reason why it wouldn't happen in podcasting as we start to get bigger and folks start to pay more attention. So be thoughtful and be careful about that. And listen, if you have a question for me on these lines, something to do with podcasting, I would be really, really happy to answer it. I love doing this. And the best way to do that is inside the Legit Podcast Pro group. And I'm looking for my link to that group, which I don't have ready to go. But Legit Podcast Pro is the group on Facebook. You can go to legitpodcastpro.com and sign up and join there, and it'll take you over into Facebook and those kinds of things. That's a great place to post these kinds of things. And really be delighted to answer your questions on another episode of this, the Legit Podcast Pro. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and I think that's going to be it for this episode. So I'll see you again really, really soon. Have a great week.